Good afternoon, everybody. We just came off a really hot segment with talking about our friends over there at Reventure Consulting and the fact that we love America.
Absolutely. Free
America.
speech.
Love
America.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All
Agreed.
100% on board. I want, you never know when your speech is going to get out of favor and all of a sudden yours is the one that's banned. So I'm for free speech for all these folks. That being said, one of the things that I wanted to contemplate with you, and yeah, true. I'm sitting here going through the process.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, you should be.
Great.
So I'm sitting here going through the process and I'm saying, all right, so if there was one thing that Washington's doing that makes me very, very nervous.
Oh, okay.
It is that they don't respect property rights very much right now. I think they're doing a bad job of really understanding that government housing hasn't really worked very well in a lot of cases. And that landlords, that's why there's a lot of tax code that's there for landlords. That being said, what I really want to focus on in this segment is how would you tell a new landlord to prepare for national rent control?
Wow. So first and foremost, I would just want to say up front, I think a federal organization telling states what to do doesn't work well. But that said, let's play with the mental exercise.
Yeah.
Fine. I guess what I would tell, I would tell all landlords, even because you might be a landlord today as well. You might have a few units. If let's just say January 1st, 2023, national rent control. And oh, by the way, if they're going to, because again, one of my biggest fears is we're going to repeat the 70s. And just so we know where this goes is one of the biggest mistakes of the 70s was the implementation of price controls.
Yes.
Price controls de-incentivizes. It's just all price controls never work. Rent control is a variation on price controls. It's just on rental housing. So again, I believe what is coming is price controls. I don't know that it comes to rent, but let's just play with this exercise. So there's a couple of things that I would kind of tell landlords to do. One is I would probably tell new landlords or any landlord, go figure out your Section 8 limits.
Yep.
And this is, I'm thinking about this in real time because I didn't know this question ahead of time.
It's true.
So it's funny because in my course, I had a Section 8 expert at a bonus section. So I'm trying to remember her name. I forget it. It'll come to me. She created a course on Section 8. That's all she does. And she gave us websites to go to. So I would go to that website and I would figure out my limits because Section 8 is, has basically limits, like 1 bedrooms are here, 2 bedrooms are here, 3 bedrooms are here, 4 bedrooms are here. So that would be the first thing I would do. Let's just say, for example, you have a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house.
Yep.
Let's assume that your normal rent is, I don't know, $1,500. Let's assume that the Section 8 limit in your market is $1,600. So in theory, you could, and you would accept a Section 8 tenant because the limits match. So that's what I would want to know how risky it is, because I see any rent control being very much income based. I could not imagine them going, for example, to Steel Monopoly, Boardwalk and Park Place have rent control, right? They will probably make it income based, I would guess. So I guess what I would do is I'd go figure out the limits, figure out if my units today could be in the realm of possibilities. Because again, if a 3-1 is $1,500, but everything you have is a $3,000 rent, right? You just have bigger 3-bedroom, 1-baths or 3-2s or whatever they are. You're not going to really be impacted, right? You're renting to a different demographic.
Sure.
So I guess that's what I would probably try to figure out. How at risk am I from being just gobbled up? Because again, you may not, your tenants may be cash paying tenants. All your, like Dion, all your stuff might be cash paying, but who's to say they don't come in and say, everybody who's at 1,500, you're now frozen for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that you can see too is you can see freezing for 6 months or a year.
Oh yeah, it'll be again. This was price controls of the 70s. Absolutely.
Yep.
Jimmy Carter came out and said, I forget what it was. Let's just call it gas. I don't remember what it was. Gas is going to have price fixed for 90 days. it ended up being whatever it was. We had price controls for 2.5 years. They just kept extending them.
Mhm.
They don't work. And oh, by the way, at the end of 2 years, the things that had price controls were less quality, companies didn't make them because they were losing money. Price controls were put in place where the widget cost 50 and they were told to sell it at 40.
Mhm.
So they didn't make any, and they didn't invest because nobody could make it profitably. So we ended up with no widgets at the end of 2.5 years, and it's a complete catastrophe.
Completely agree. So the advice that, so I'm sitting in my shoes trying to figure out exactly what I do.
Mhm.
What would be those things? So and this is a major element to my strategy as a real estate investor, is I always look at these multifamilies and I look at how long that owner's owned it. And I look at how far under market rents they are.
Okay.
And so 80% of the units that I've acquired in the last 18 months are below market rent, 80% of them. And some of them, I'll give you, so our pay scale here for a 1-bedroom is $1,039, for a 2 is $1,330, for a 3
Okay.
is $1,804.
Okay.
And
Makes
for a
sense.
4 is $1,977. That's with nothing included. That's just the rent.
Got it.
So literally what we're going through the process of doing, because this will happen fast. And in most states, you need to give between 30 and 60 days notice. In some states, it's more. My state's 30 days notice.
Mine, if you've been I think if you've been in your property a year, it's 90 days.
Okay. So for mine, it's 30, but you need to get out ahead of it. You need to be doing the work on this now, because this I see as a potential to be done as a midterms coup to try and really drive people to the polls.
It could,
Because
that would be interesting.
Because this is such a hot button. So not picking political sides here. I'm just saying, I believe in looking at the landscape.
Yeah. And so let's just play that out. Let's just
Yeah.
say bingo bango, it happened in October, whatever.
Mhm.
There's a couple of things. Because again, this happened in California.
Right. But
So
California, but I'll tell you this, California, and probably the only time I'll ever say this, California is generous on their rent control. It's 6 plus CPI with a cap of 10, right? Or
it's
5.
It's five with
So it's 5 plus CPI with a cap of 10.
But let's talk about who gets hurt. So again, we
Sure.
vote on it. It gets declined. Gavin Newsom, who's a king. I don't know if you guys know this, but Gavin Newsom is a king in California because he's got all the special powers and he never lets go of emergency powers. He's a king.
Sure.
So he enacts it all by himself. Rent control, bingo, bango, done, because kings said so. But let's talk about who gets hurt.
Sure.
First and foremost, if you are a mom and pop landlord and you never raised rents, and this is all for multifamily, because singles are actually excluded in California.
In California, they are.
Yeah, they're excluded, at least currently. Who knows about the future? So duplex or quads. But what happened is, if you were one of those owners and you wanted to sell, the value of your property collapsed.
Yes.
Because historically, right, especially in a hot market, you could sell on future, right? I'm at 400, it should be 800. I'll split the difference and I'll pay you like it's 700 because but now you can't do that.
Right.
So frankly, I think I got 12 doors at roughly half price because I inherited tenants who were at half of rent. And it would take time to get rents up.
Sure.
So I took on that responsibility. So again, the first person hurt is a seller who has been kind to their tenants.
Sure.
That's why I said in early videos on my channel, Gavin Newsom, the king of California, has mandated that I raise rents every year.
That's right.
I historically did not want to do that.
Right.
I historically went every other year.
Yep.
But Gavin Newsom, the king of California, has made it that if I don't raise rents every year, I get behind and I can never make it up.
Correct.
He did that. I didn't do that. Correct. He did that. So first off, mom and pop landlords lose when they want to sell. Second, renters lose, because what we have seen in my market is landlords who still have property rights, even though California tries to take them away. They say 90-day notice, please vacate. I'm going to fully remodel the property, which is one of the exceptions.
Sure.
And they don't re-rent it. They sell it.
Right. Real quick on that. Is there a baseline for what they consider a rehab? Is it like $5,000 or $10,000 or a certain percentage value of the home? Is there anything like that? Do you know?
I have a
Yeah, unfair question because I know you have a property manager.
well, no, I have in this case, I have an attorney on standby who only does tenant landlord law,
Okay.
and I go to him. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I'm sure in California, I'm sure there's a limit.
Got to be something, right?
Got to be something. It's California. Come on, there's got to be a line somewhere. But again, I don't think any landlords are trying to skate this. I think they're older. I think they've been in I think the property needs a full remodel, and you can't do a free remodel with any tenants in there. It's just not practical. Got the kitchen, got the bath.
Yeah, I mean,
do the floor. Yeah. It's just right. It's hard.
So real quickly for people, it's literally against the law to not have a place for you guys to go to the bathroom if you're a tenant watching this. So for us, it's like, oh, we'll just do it while I'm in here. I can't do that. I can't.
No, I'm not going to put you in a hotel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to put you in a hotel where in 5 nights it costs the same as a month of your rent.
Exactly.
I'm literally forced to have you vacate in order for me to upgrade the unit.
Yeah, no, exactly. So again, so what we're seeing because of rent controls, we've seen many mom and pop landlords get hurt because they sold less. I bought some, but what we're really seeing is the number of affordable rentals collapse. And I think it's going to collapse more, especially in LA County with what the nonsense they're doing there. I mean, I can't imagine being a landlord in LA County. I would, if I owned stuff there, especially houses, I would give 90-day notice, might even do 120 to be nice. And then I would remodel and sell. Yep. I mean, I thought this thing was unconstitutional, but yet they're still having an eviction moratorium. I don't get it, but whatever.
Apparently they believe in states' rights.
Well, yeah, city actually.
And,
that's a city. County.
Right.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I want to talk about too was when we look at these caps and when we look at, again, I said California is very generous, 5% plus CPI, cap of 10%. A cap of 10% in pretty much every market in the last 22 years since we've been doing this is higher than we've gone up.
And I think
the last year or two.
I really think, again, I want to give credit where credit's due. I think they were generous, no question. Of the 22 years I have been doing this, there's only been 1 year, and it was last year, where rents seemingly went up double digits. Yes. My market was frankly flat for 5 or 6 years.
Sure. My
normal rent increases 2, 3, 4% maybe.
Right. Tiny.
So again, when I saw the 5+5, when I saw the cap of 10, I'm like, really for me, I was like, I've never seen CPI above 2 or 3. So I'm thinking the cap's 7, right? I'm still like, okay. But yeah, it's I could see it. And yeah, I think if there was, again, we're just playing what ifs here. Yeah, I would think national rent control would be, I think they would freeze rents. So no cap, meaning 0.
Yep.
They'll say they'll do like Jimmy Carter and make it 90 days at a time.
Yep.
And it will just keep getting extended. I can't imagine. But yeah, I mean, on the realm of possibilities, it's on the scale.
Did you see Minneapolis's ruling?
No. What did they do? I didn't see that.
3%.
Yeah, I did see Minneapolis did something about 6 months ago, and again, unintended consequences. They had a lot of buildings that was planned, like approved, where the builder said, "Nope, we're leaving. We're going somewhere else."
Exactly.
Unintended consequences, folks. If you want to have affordable housing, you want investments in affordable housing, I suggest not making it unprofitable. It's called price controls, and price controls don't work.
Yeah. 3% was what they capped that at. And like you said, made a bunch of investors leave. Seattle has their version of it, the way that they've structured that. Yeah. Well, I think what's really interesting is this is the single thing that impacts affordable housing. This is the thing that affects it the absolute most. And that's why landlords don't want it, is because we want to price based on market. Or if I have a situation where I have a great tenant, I have one tenant that I didn't raise rent for 5 years. They did the lawn for themselves. They took care of everything. It was like they owned the house. And for that reason, I said, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. You save me money. All my inflating costs aren't impacting me because you're taking care of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the partnership between tenant and landlord that I think legislators just largely don't understand, is that that's far more the case. And I get it. A few bad apples, slumlords spoil the bunch.
Yeah. The other thing I want to say, I don't remember if it was Seattle or Portland, but one of them enacted pretty tight rent controls. And I did a video on it, so I'm trying to go back in my memory banks. I think what they saw was like 2,000 affordable rentals were gone.
Yeah.
And it was like in a 6-month window.
Yep.
Right. They basically punished landlords who were serving their tenants. Those landlords said, F you, kicked them out, sold the properties to owners. So owners liked it.
Sure.
But you lost affordable rentals. And what they've seen, I don't know if it was Portland or Seattle. Rents are exploding again because there's no supply. Well, why is there no supply? Well, you punish the owners, you freaking idiots. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's the problem. So I appreciate you going through the exercise with me. I think this was one that's really important because I think that it actually has some teeth. I think that it actually could happen. I hope it doesn't, because we know what it means.
It's frightening to think about.
It is, but there is a possibility something like this could happen. I mean, we've seen a lot of things in the last 2 years. I don't think any of us ever expected to see.
Truer words have not been said.
So Mike, tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
One rental at a time.
It's true. Everywhere. Books, website, YouTube channel, tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific time, live stream, all that stuff. So as I always say, we like to keep great content going for you guys. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button, and make sure to leave a comment because we're interested in what you have to say. And we actually do a lot of videos that people suggest. So please feel free to do so. Mike, I'll see you in segment number 3.
You got it.